Welcome to Game V3, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the Wii U. You see, I just bought the Wii U for $250 Australian, and it came with Skylanders and the Nintendo Land and Mario Kart 8. On top of that, Mario Kart 8 came as an individual game, meaning that I could claim before the end of June a free game off of Nintendo's list. And that free game I chose was Zelda Wind Waker HD. So yeah, in this video I'll be hopefully helping you decide whether or not you should consider buying a Wii U now that it's dropping in price significantly here in Australia anyway. Let me now go on to the obligatory fanboyism. I am not a fanboy of any particular brand. I don't see the need to be a fanboy of any particular brand unless you work for the company or you're getting paid somehow by that company. I have owned, my very first console was a Sega Mega Drive, of which I have the games and the console still here today. There's only been a few consoles really that I haven't owned from the big major brands, which would be like the GameCube or PlayStation 3. But otherwise, most of them I have owned. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the Nintendo Wii U. So, I love the controller. Despite what people say, I think it is an excellent controller. There are some drawbacks, and I'll go into that in a moment. But let's just go on to the PlayStation 4 controller and the Xbox One controller. Let's say that in terms of analog sticks, one of the most important control inputs of any controller nowadays, I find the Wii U controller to have the best analog sticks. But obviously that's opinion based, and many people will have their own opinions when it comes to that. What about the screen? Okay, in some circumstances it works really well. In others it's pretty much just there. It's not really doing much else. Is it really worth having on a controller? Well, I think Sony and Microsoft answered that by releasing their controllers without a screen. Now, the Nintendo Wii U was basically released a year and a half, or a year at least, before those consoles. If Sony and Microsoft felt as though it was something they needed to do, they would have done it. Just as though they copied with the Kinect and the Wii U motion controllers, I've forgotten what they're called now, when the Wii's controller was taken off. So yeah, it's not really necessary. I mean, in Mario Kart, I haven't been playing it much at the moment in terms of the length of time on these games, but with Mario Kart you can't really take your eyes off the screen that much because you're turning each corner, you're picking up items, someone's firing something at you. The last thing you want to do is take your eyes off the main action. I have played Super Mario Bros. U, which was kindly lent to me, and I love it. Brilliant game. In terms of the controller, it's just repeating what's on the screen. That's all the controller's doing. So there is also the D-pad, which is very good and functional. I love the LZ and the ZR triggers on this. As a button, they're so comfortable to use. However, the L and R bumpers, they're really difficult to get your index fingers to. But in saying that, on the Xbox One controller, I also find them slightly difficult to get to. You just have to hit the edges of it. But on the Wii U controller, perhaps a little bit more. In terms of the facial buttons, you've still got the same diamond shape with the X, Y, B and A. My only critique with that is the placement of the analog sticks. Although I love the analog sticks, the actual placement of them, it's slightly above, a bit too close to that diamond shape. So yeah, in terms of a controller, it's really good. The only negatives really with it would be those shoulder buttons and obviously the battery life. To power a big screen like that and the battery they've given you, it's not substantial. I mean, 4 hours is a bit weak. One last thing, in terms of holding it, it's very comfortable. So now we've covered the controller, what about the console itself? Well, yeah, it looks okay, but I can tell why people got confused. Those people who are not gamers, it does look very similar to the Wii. It looks very similar to the Wii. It is a bit perhaps on the uglyish side. I would say the best looking console of this generation has to be the PS4, but that's a functional console. most of the time it's going to be underneath your TV and you won't even notice it. It does have an SD card slot, but unfortunately, I think maybe because of piracy on the Wii, it can only be used really for save games and that. So if you want to expand your memory, you have to pull in an external hard drive, and I believe that external hard drive has to be powered. So still onto the Wii U hardware, another negative, and this is my biggest critique of the Wii U. Many people are not going to like what I'm going to say, but I have to say it because it's my opinion and my view. The Wii U hardware is underpowered. Now, before you go on to say that power isn't everything, that is true, but you need a certain amount of power. And if you're a game developer making a game like the new Assassin's Creed Unity or the new Batman Arkham Knight, it's going to require certain graphical properties in order for it to run effectively on a console. Now, as a developer, you would want to make sure that it can run on at least two of the most popular consoles to sell as many copies as you can. But they have to weigh up between price of making the game and how many they're going to sell. The problem there is that with the Wii U, it's underpowered in equivalent to the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. So any future games from this point on made specifically for a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One, well, is it going to be worthwhile for the developer to spend even more time developing that game for the Wii U? That's the question that needs to be asked. If Nintendo had made a console that was powerful enough to compete with the PS4 and the Xbox One, doesn't have to be as powerful, but close in specifications, then the developer would find it a lot easier to port that game across and wouldn't bother thinking about whether or not it's the cost is there to spend making that game for that console. So that's my major critique there. Games. This console is amazing for games. If you are the type of person that's grown up with computer games since the 80s or early 90s, you will love this console. I will guarantee it, you will love this console for all those Nintendo classic games. That feeling you get, it gives a warm feeling to you. It makes you feel good again. It makes you feel like you're playing these games like you're back in that era. With the Wii and the GameCube, I felt it had lost that. I thought that had gone out the window. That wasn't to come back, but these games have brought back that magic, that special Nintendo magic has come back. I'm in also the position to buy a few games right now, and the games I'll be buying in the near future will be Super Mario 3D World, I believe it's called, and I'll be buying Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. Now those I'm really looking forward to playing. But what about those games that were coming out towards the end of this year and beginning of next? Well, E3 has been and gone, and Nintendo Direct, that's technically what it was, has been shown at E3, and I'm really looking forward, of course, to new Zelda. Wow, that I haven't played a really good Zelda game since Zelda Ocarina of Time. The only games from Zelda that have got me by since then have been the ones on the portable handheld systems, the ones that were on the DS, like Spirit Tracks, and the one that was just recently on the 3DS, I've forgotten its name, but that was a great Zelda. But finally we get a 3D Zelda that looks sensational. I wasn't too impressed with the previous ones like Twilight Princess or Skyward Sword, but this one looks open world. It looks like the feeling of Ocarina's coming back. Nintendo are getting that magic back, that magic that I've been missing for nearly a decade, maybe more. And I'm just so looking forward to this, really looking forward to those games. So Zelda, definitely top of my list. The Captain Toad game, really looking forward to that as well. I'm not a big fan of Smash Brothers. I think partly because I'm rubbish at it, but also just didn't appeal to me. But don't forget, there are those GameCube controllers that are coming out now with the adapter for the Wii U for playing Smash Brothers, which is a pretty cool thing. Be nice if they made a wireless one. So they are the future games. As I said, I own a PS4. I own a gaming PC. My friend has an Xbox One. I've pretty much now played on all formats of this generation. What do I think to the Wii U? My honest opinion, an exceptional console, a brilliant console for playing Nintendo games. And the Nintendo games right now have been better than they ever have been since the N64. But here's the dilemma. If you own a gaming PC, should you buy the Wii U? My opinion, yes. Yes, because the Wii U is a console in the traditional sense. The PS4 and the Xbox One are like a Steam box that'll be coming out shortly. They're like a PC in a box, more of a budget-friendly version, and in a small box made to look like a console. Most of the games that come out on PS4 and Xbox One, I'll be buying on the PC. Batman Arkham Knight, to name one of them, as well as Assassin's Creed Unity and The Division. Any exclusives there, like Halo, I'm a bit over that, to be honest with you. So, would I recommend buying a Wii U? Yes, if you own a gaming PC. But here's the dilemma that I was coming back to. If you don't own a gaming PC, then a Wii U may not be the device that you want to buy unless you are a real hardcore Nintendo fan, because you're going to be missing out on a lot of games for this current generation. So keep that in mind. That's why I'm disappointed with the power of the Wii U. If they had just made it close in power to the PS4 or the Xbox One, we wouldn't be having this issue. I would be recommending it without doubt. It's just that unfortunate you're missing out on so many good third-party titles. Is it worth buying one just for those Nintendo games that rarely come along, maybe 2 a year? It's your decision to make there. So, should you buy one? Yes, if you love your Nintendo games. And maybe if you want to be playing third-party games, but you don't have a PC, I would probably say no, actually. If you own a gaming PC, definitely get a Wii U. It's a worthwhile purchase, especially at this price. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope this helps you in making the decision if you were thinking of getting a Wii U. And please give me your opinion and any in the comments below, and don't forget to rate this video. And thanks for watching.